I have a confession. I was wrong. So I gained some clout after quitting my job in 2020. Yes, that's a Japanese newspaper, which means I'm an internationally recognized quitter. God, my parents must be proud. But I have to admit, after 2 years of self-reflection, I was wrong about quitting. Everything else I was right about. So now the question is, am I going to look for a new job? But before I tell you what I'm going to do and exactly what went wrong, I need to explain how I got here. So after college, I worked in finance for 3 years. I quit, and for the past 2 years, I became a full-time YouTuber. And this is what led me and millions of others become a dirty, no-good quitter. During the pandemic lockdown, when people had nothing better to do but stare at a wall, they realized that their bosses were kind of a dick, and they got fed up. So they asked their bosses for better working conditions and better pay, and in response, they all said, nah. At first, these workers sucked it up because they felt alone and powerless, but then people started announcing their resignation online, and the government started handing out stimmies, empowering people to say, I quit. Businesses got desperate and begged people to come back. Even McDonald's, they were offering $50 just for an interview at some point, which I may or may not have done. Fast forward to today, and even though inflation is over 9,000, a recession is on the way, and the stock market is crashing, people are still happily quitting. And then there's me. So what was I wrong about, and what am I going to do now? For starters, it can be boiled down to following my passion. You heard the phrase before, find a job you love and you will never work a day in your life. But along the way, something happened. I absolutely bought into this idea at first. On the surface, it makes total sense. But when I had a real job in finance, it provided something invaluable to my passion for creating financial education content on the tubes. I would wake up at 5 a.m., work on my channel, then at 8 a.m., go to my real job. Then from 7 p.m. to midnight after work, I did YouTube again. And even though it was a struggle, I absolutely loved it. But now it's a bit different, which sounds weird because the job kids want the most nowadays is to be a YouTuber, which kind of makes me a role model. What used to be just a fun passion project now demands a lot more from me because I rely on it as my main source of income to pay for 90% of my expenses, which turns out to be paying for gas. But here's the problem. If you get paid to do what you love, then you might not end up loving it as much. And hear me out. Let's say you're helping your best buddy renovate his house. Afterwards, y'all are chatting it up, talking about how trash of a show Selling Sunset is. And then at the end of the day, he tosses you $30 and says, deuces. Now, the first time he does this, you're like, cool, I can afford a gallon of gas now. But after a couple of days, it's probably not going to feel great because now you unconsciously measure your help and your friendship at $30 when you know damn well you're worth at least $35. But if your friend just said thanks, dapped you up, you'd actually feel a lot better in the long run. Now, this might come as a surprise to some of you, but I don't have a PhD in science. But this is called the over-justification effect, according to science. Look, I'm not saying I don't like making content now. I'm very lucky to be able to do this for a living, but there's definitely more pressure to make stuff, even when I'm not in the mood, which makes it less of a passion. Plus, I feel the constant pressure and need to produce content, which takes a lot of work, leading to frequent burnouts. I'm also an introvert, so this energy level that you see on camera right now, 5 cups of coffee minimum. Which brings me to my second wrong. Money, our favorite topic because we're a finance channel, and boy, the financial pressure is tough, making me wonder if I should get a real job right now. But not so fast, because I have some good news. We have a sponsor. One of the biggest challenges when I started my YouTube journey was just managing everything, from video ideating to outlining, scripting, editing, collaborating, brand dealing, and the whole shebanging. And what helped me out was ClickUp, a productivity and project management platform that can help you save 1 day of work per week. ClickUp started with the idea that productivity was broken because there's way too many tools to keep track of everything. You gotta go here to do this, and you gotta go over there to do that, and it just became way too confusing. So ClickUp built a tool that houses everything that you need. Keep track of your tasks and goals, check. Your spreadsheets, check. Documents, check. More stuff, check. It's built for teams of 1 to 1,000 plus, and it's packed full of features and customization options that no other productivity tool has. So you can work how you work best. Whether you're in project management, sales, HR, or a YouTuber, ClickUp has an easy-to-use solution that creates a more efficient work environment. You can join the over 800,000 highly productive teams using ClickUp today with the link down below. ClickUp is free if you're just an individual yourself, but if you are part of a team or a larger company, they are offering 15% off with my link down below. You can use code Vincent Chan to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Thanks again to ClickUp for sponsoring this video, but on a more serious note, there are some money-related things that I didn't even consider before I quit. That kind of changes everything. As the official self-proclaimed self-employed representative, life is just way more expensive. You think paying $6 for a gallon of gas is pricey? Get ready to have your mind blown. This is the New York Health Insurance Marketplace, where I get insurance every year so I don't have to file for bankruptcy for just a blood test. Check this out. The cheapest plan costs $457 a month. That's $5,484 a year for the worst plan with the least amount of coverage available, which also turns out to be the plan that I'm on because I'm a cheap. But wait, there's more, because you know the thing that everyone loves to do after a long, grueling day at work, where they sit down on their lovely couch, kick their feet up, pull out their phone, and start budgeting? Well, imagine doing that twice with your business account. So not only am I managing my own personal money, saving it and investing it, I have to do the exact same thing for my business. I get paid sporadically, so I have to manage my business money to make sure I have enough cash at the end of the year for taxes, which in 2021, it kind of bit me in the butt, but we're not going to talk about that. But one of the biggest financial constraints for me now is buying a house. Like, yeah, first world problems, right? But you don't realize how much easier it is to get a mortgage as a W-2 employee. If you're self-employed, you need to have 2 years of tax returns, fill out a ton more documents, sacrifice a baby goat, and have a bigger down deposit. That's a tough cookie if you're trying to get a roof over your head. Which brings me to wrong number 3. Now, for some reason, I thought that quitting my real job would mean I have a bunch more free time to play Team Fortress 2, binge watch Ozark, and step outside my house more than twice a month. But that's not how it works. Now that I'm not getting paid consistently, I can't really mess around. Not to toot my own horn, but I was actually a pretty damn good employee at my real job. Not like employee of the month good, but I always produced good work, which meant technically I could slack off whenever I wanted and no one would notice. Hypothetically, if I wanted to block out 2 hours of my day and just take a nap, I could. Hypothetically, of course. But now with my new boss, he's kind of so I can't really slack off. Since I'm in charge of how much money I make now, if I mess around, that impacts my income, meaning I always gotta be on my in game and actually work a lot harder now than ever before, which isn't intended to be a brag. And the trade-off is, although I'm making more money, my work-life balance isn't great. I spend less time doing things I enjoy because I'm busy working. For one, I only take Saturday off out of the week, and even on Saturday, I'm still mentally on, trying to think of new business ideas to start, just in case, knock on wood, something happens. So back to the question, after 2 years, do I regret quitting, and am I going to look for a real job? Look, entrepreneurship sucks. It is without a doubt 100 times harder than I thought it would be. It's lonely and exhausting. The highs are high and the lows are terrible. And despite how strong you think you are, it will break you. Figuratively, of course. God, can you even imagine? On social media, you only see the highlight reels, but on some days, I feel like a stray dog walking aimlessly into a ghost town because I have no idea what I'm doing or whether I'm even heading in the right direction. And sure, you can ask other creators for advice and help, but I guarantee you, no one knows what they're doing and everyone is just winging it. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice, but after 2 years of self-reflection, I always come back to the realization that quitting is what forced me to grow, what forced me to see what I'm truly capable of. What I hated most about corporate America is that I always felt limited, and there was always this invisible ceiling that I could never break through to see my full potential. Now that that's gone, my only limitation is my ability and a whole bunch of luck, which is refreshing in a way. But what I love most about being an entrepreneur and having a YouTube channel is knowing that I absolutely, unequivocally know nothing. At a certain point in life or in business, you can't just look up an answer on Google anymore because no one has asked it before or answered it. And the only way to find an answer is to live through it, which is exciting and scary. So long story short, no. I'm not going to look for a real job because I'm a lazy piece of shit. Despite the ups and downs, I love what I do, but I am making changes. I need to adapt and do different stimulating things. My biggest fear is stagnating and not even being aware of it. So I'm trying out a new video style format thing on this main channel and starting a second channel for longer form mini documentaries exposing businesses and economic stuff. Like, did you know it's completely legal to buy and sell dead bodies? Check it out, video link is below. So, how do I know if I'm doing the right thing by not getting a real job? One thing that always helps me find clarity is asking myself, am I running towards something or away from something? And between you and me, I'm still very, very far from my destination.